All right. Hello, everyone. Oh my goodness. I look like I've been in a storm of some sorts, and I haven't been. I don't know what's going on, but hello and welcome to some Tuesday Truth. So today we are talking about our sovereign selves and what that means and how we connect to that and what keeps us from that. So if you are here, I would love for you to say hi and to tell me, um, how you feel about your sovereign self. And hi, Karen. Oh, so good to see you. And I'm here. And then we're going to have some fun. We're going to pull some cards and do some things. So to get started, I want to talk about sovereignty and what that means to me. Okay, so to me, sovereignty is free from outside rule. Basically, that means that we are free from the shoulds and the shouldn'ts and the have tos and the all that, all the rules of everybody else, right? Oh, hi, Anastasia. It's so good to see you. Um, so we really want to be free of that. And this is a really hard thing to do. And I have come face to face with this a ton in the last few weeks as I've been dealing with some decisions that my family is making or we're trying to make. And some of the beliefs and the patterns and the responses and the reactions from other people, it ignites other responses and reactions, and it's a challenge, and it really gets you in this space of the shoulds and the what do I have to do and what's expected of me and what have I done and my whole life and all of this. And so it's a very, very interesting, and all of that really disconnects us from our sovereignty. And I believe we're born sovereign beings, and then we learn to not act, right? We're born sovereign. We are born, free from everything. We're born pure love. And then as we grow and we engage in our communities and with our families and things like that, we learn to be less and less sovereign. We learn to go more and more towards what everybody else wants, right? And what everybody else thinks we should do in the right way and the wrong way, all of that. So, hi, Sherry. It's so great to see you as well. And yeah, Karen, boy, is that not the truth? Karen says lots of shoulds being put upon many of us, and that is the truth. And Sammy, hi, Sammy. So good to see you. What a beautiful tribe of women we've got here today. And so, what I have noticed in my path, in my journey of connecting more and more to my sovereignty, that's been the past like year, over probably 14 months now, of me really understanding like I need to dive into this and really find it and ground into it as much as I can, because that's the only security that we have, right? We think there's security outside of us. We think there's security in our home and our job and our relationships and all these things, but that's not really true. It just isn't. It just is not true. Our only sense of safety and security is within us. That's our only sense of knowing, right? Is us. Our responses to things, our reactions to things, our willingness to look within for that control. And so when we're talking about our sovereignty, the one thing that I have noticed for myself, and I'm sure it's this way for those of you that are on this and watching live and in the replay, but what I have known or what I have realized is that the one thing that always separates me from my sovereignty and gets me confused is fear, right? So it's fear in the unknown. It's fear in the uncertainty. It's fear in I should do this or I shouldn't do this. It's fear of if I don't do this, then this will happen. And if I don't do this, or if I do this, this might happen, right? There's lots and lots of fear. And fear has just become a normal way of life for us now in our societies. And this is kind of across the board. It's not just in the US, it's everywhere. We've become world of fear, right? And making decisions based on fear. And so I want to just talk about fear for a moment and just have a really quick reminder about fear. So, because I think it's important that we put fear in its place and that we really understand what fear is. Um, so basically, we're capable of two emotions. We're capable of love and we're capable of fear, right? And they're both emotions. And then they've each got friends, right? They've each got like a tribe of friends that follow them. And so we've got the love, and love's friends are peace and joy and happy and excitement and, curiosity and all those things. And then fear and its friends are anger, frustration, anxiety, depression, right? So they're all just different forms of one of those two emotions, love or fear. And so it's important that we understand this on a really basic level. And this is very basic. And we're getting basic today because sometimes simple is the way we have to go to get ourselves on the right path. And I said today that really it's about finding the path of breadcrumbs, right? It's about finding our breadcrumbs and knowing, like, following that and to help us get to the open or the clarity. But sometimes we can't even see the breadcrumbs. We can't even see the first little crumb because there's so much going on. So the thing is, with the fear and with the love, they're both emotions and they both have a vibration, right? So the love emotions vibrate high. They're quick, they're fast, they come in, they go out, they come in quick, they move quick. And the fear energy is the opposite. It's low, it's slow, it's heavy. So it comes in slower, it stays longer, it takes a little longer to move up and out. But, and this is the key, because they are energy always wants to stay in movement, always. And when it doesn't, when we have stopped it, that's when we have problems, right? So the heavier fear energy wants to keep moving, and it wants to move around and up and out, just like the love, but it doesn't feel great. And so we push it away, or we resist it, or we say we don't want to feel that right now. So we do something to numb it, to cover it, right? We've all done this. We eat or we drink or we shop or we watch TV or we're on social media or whatever it is, right? To avoid, to numb. And so we want to be very aware of this, that they're all emotions that want to move. And how willing are we to sit with it and allow it? That's sovereignty at the base level. When we are willing to allow the emotions that are up and coming for us, when we allow them to be present and we allow them to just be within us and not try to hurry it along or not try to push it away so that we don't have to deal with it, when we allow them to just be and be in that emotion soup, right? Because that's what it is. We're just a big body of emotional soup. Who knows? One minute we feel great, the next minute we don't, then we go back to feeling great again. So we just want to be present with it. And what happens is, when we do not resist the fear, when we do not say, I don't want to deal with this, or I'm not going to deal with this, or this is too much, or all of the stories that we put on these emotions that we feel all throughout the day, when we don't put those stories on them and we just allow them to be, suddenly they don't have as much power. Suddenly they aren't as triggering, right? And this is the key. This is the key, because we need to take the control from the fear, right? It doesn't have any control over us if we don't allow it. So we've got to take the control from the fear. Okay. So this is really a two-part thing today, to embracing your sovereignty and, finding your trail of breadcrumbs towards your sovereign self is embracing the fear, allowing the fear. Okay, let's be honest. You don't have to embrace it, right? That's kind of a That's a big leap, right? We don't necessarily want to embrace the fear, but we do need to allow it. So I always have this visual in my mind. So years ago, I used to not like roller coasters, and I would ride them, but it was like I wasn't happily on them, right? And so I would ride them clenched fist like this. And I was every moment on that roller coaster, I was tense and I was clenched, and it was just not fun at all. And so one day during meditation, I was shown like I was not only death gripping on the roller coaster rides, but I was death gripping life. And it makes it not enjoyable. It literally robs the joy. So I was shown like, put your hands up, open your hands, even if it's just a little bit, so that you're not like this. Maybe you're, like this, or like this and this, then this, whatever. So I saw that metaphor. And then shortly after, I was going to a place where we were going to ride a roller coaster. And I thought, what the hell? I'm just going to try it. I'm going to try to ride that roller coaster without clenching, without white knuckling it and being a death grip on that bar. And so I went on the roller coaster, and I just, I did my breathing before, because we've got all these tools to help us, right? This is what they're for. They're for these kinds of situations. So I did my breathing and I went deep, and the ride started, and I could feel myself getting a little bit tense. So I relaxed, and I'm like, it's just one ride. Just one ride. You can try it this way. And if it doesn't work, you don't have to ever try it that way again. That's the beauty of life, right? We can try it. And if it doesn't work, we can try something else. We always get another chance, or we usually get another chance. So I wrote it, and I was relaxed. And, through the whole ride, I was just more and more relaxed. And then I noticed, what the hell? I was enjoying myself. I was having fun. And not only was I not white knuckling it, a couple times my arms even went up a little bit, and I was like squealing with laughter. I was laughing, and I was having fun. And I got done, and I thought, "Oh my God, like what a different experience that was." Rather than being tortured for, 5 minutes or whatever, how 40 seconds or whatever the ride is, I enjoyed it, and it was fun, and it was joyful, and it made me laugh like the best medicine, right? We talked about that on Friday with immunity, how important laughter is to our immune systems and our physical and emotional health. And so I thought, wow, this is amazing. And that is the way it is with fear. Fear makes us go like this. But we need to remind ourselves that it's just an emotion. It's not a fact, right? There are some things to be afraid of that are facts. We can even work our way through that. But a lot of the fear that's swirling right now isn't based in fact. There's some that's just fear, okay? Because we take something and then we let it swirl. And before we know it, it's become a mountain. So it's our job to bring those mountains down, to make them sizable, to where they're manageable, and we can deal with it. And we can open our hands and live like this, right? Be willing to receive the joy. I mean, our hands are how we give and how we receive, right? So we really do want them as open as possible, literally and figuratively. So think about my roller coaster metaphor when you need to, when you're having a hard time being open-handed and open-hearted, when the fear constricts. That's another way that you can tell if the emotions are heavy, is if your chest is constricted, if your belly is constricted, you're not getting enough air. And guess what? When we go like this, when the fear clenches us, not only is our hands clenched, but our entire body is clenched. And then we're breathing shallow. So we're only breathing from our diaphragm up. We're not oxygenating our entire body. So we're not getting all the benefit out of our breath that we can be. So let's look at some comments here. Okay. Karen says, yes, so much fear, and decisions based on fear are the wrong decisions. Absolutely. Karen, that is such a brilliant observation. And thank you for that, because we don't want to make decisions from the space of fear. That is never going to be in our highest good. And it's kind of tricky because we can make some decisions based on fear that feel right because it feels like protection, right? Like we're coming from this protective mode. But that's never the right thing for us. We always want to make a decision from a heart open, or as open as we can get it, right? We want our heart center to be as open as possible and make the decision from there. Always the right decision. And oftentimes what we find is if we make a decision from fear, it doesn't work very well. Like it feels hard, it feels clunky, it doesn't feel in flow. Okay, so that's one way to know, because it's not going to be in flow, because it's like this, right? Nothing flows through clenched fists. Think about that. Okay, and Anastasia, let's see. And I think it's Anastasia. I'm sorry. I pronounced that incorrectly. Um, she made a decision based on fear last week. Went forward with something because I had fear and I didn't want to allow that to hold me back from an opportunity. Wow, I love that. So that is so perfect as well. Thank you. What incredible audience we have today with all this insight. And that is such a critical point. We don't want to make a decision based on fear, but we also don't want to keep ourselves from a decision based on fear. So I actually have a rule in my family that if we don't want to do something, we have to explain why. And if it's just because we're afraid, then we got to do it. We have to. It's just the way that it is. And it's a challenge and it's hard, but it's always rewarding. It always, always, always is rewarding to face your fears, right? Because we take our fears as fact and they aren't. And that's part of that taking the power, right? We need to take the power out of the fear. We need to deflate, take the air out of the balloon of fear and let it go away, right? Let it dissipate, because that's what it wants to do. Fear does not want to stay within our physical body. It does not want to stay within our emotional body. It wants to move up and out. That's its job. And we keep it from doing its job. So we want to allow the fear to come in. We want to allow it to speak to us. Get all of the insight that you can from the fear. When I'm afraid about something, I like to journal about it. And I like to list, like, whatever it is that I'm afraid of. Maybe it's something, with my work, or something with a relationship that has me in fear. I like to journal about all the things that I'm afraid of with that situation. And then I go through and I go back to each point and I go through it and I go, is this true, or am I making this up? Like, is this something that has happened, or am I just thinking it's going to happen? Or is this something that's legitimately happened? Like, if you're in a relationship and some things have happened, like trust has been broken, that's one thing. It would make sense that you would have a fear about that trust being broken. And then you're going to have to decide if that legitimate fear is enough to keep you from moving forward with the relationship or not, right? But so we want to go through and I make my list and I go through point by point and look at them each and say, how legitimate is this? Is this based in fact, or is this just something I'm thinking, right? Is this something I'm making up that I'm thinking this is how it's going to be? So there you go. And most of the time, the majority of what I'm afraid of isn't true. It's not true. And it's something that I'm creating in my head. So we want to be really, really careful about that. We want to be really careful about that. And Sammy says, you've really taught me to explore fear and see how it is showing up in my life. Oh, thank you for that, Sammy. And this is an ongoing practice with us, right? Because, I have a show called Practicality Plus and Magic. And that's also my group in the Ajata Casa app, because we have this really interesting paradigm at work in our lives. We are spiritual beings here learning how to have a human experience. And it is not easy. We've got to learn how to marry that very practical human part of us with the very magical spiritual part of us. And it is not easy. And the fear is what separates us often, right? It's what keeps us from allowing those to merge. And that's really what we do. And so I have come to really, as crazy as this sounds, Sometimes when the fear shows up, I'm like, ooh, fun. We're going excavating. We're going on a fact-finding mission and we're going to uncover some fun stuff, right? Because there's always ahas and things that come when we go exploring and when we look at everything that's going on with the fear. So don't resist it. Really make friends with it as much as you can and just understand what it is. It's just energy. That's all it is. And the more that we can come to peace with it, the more that we can accept it, the more that we can embrace it, welcome it. I mean, give it space, right? We don't have to put out the red carpet, but we do want to create space for it and allow space. And the journaling, I talk about journaling all the time because it really is indispensable. It really is life-changing. And a journaling practice alone can bring awakening, right? Along with all the other tools we have. So, any other questions about fear and moving to our sovereignty? The one last thing that I'm going to say, so we've talked about, the fear is what keeps us from being our sovereign selves, truly keeps us from being our sovereign selves. So if we can acknowledge the fear and deal with it in a very healthy, very constructive way, that's wonderful. Then the next thing is to really ground into our personal power, which to me, our personal power, there's several energy centers that deal with the personal power. But for me, when we're talking about our sovereignty, it's really our solar plexus and our heart, because our heart is the space of love and compassion, unconditional love for ourselves, first and foremost. And then our solar plexus is the space where our focus and our personal power and our confidence comes, right? So, really, our sovereign self is in every energy center. But if we work on those two, if we really work on grounding into those two spaces, we kind of can't go wrong. Because if we're in our heart center and we're letting go of all the clutter that fear creates, then what's at the basis of that is ourself and our wants, our desires, our sovereign self, knowing who we are, what we're here for, and how, what we want moving forward. And our intuition is really in that space as well. Oh, and Sherry, yes. Oh my goodness. You guys are so brilliant. I just love this. What an incredible audience. Thank you for being here today. Sherry says, I have found that there's always a shift or breakthrough just past the fear. Isn't that the truth? And, always, there always is. And it's a reward. It's like, it's the universe's way of saying, way to go, brava. Like, you were in the midst of this, it was very present, and you didn't let it stop you, right? Even if we take a pause with it for a little bit and kind of get our bearings, because it's a constant recalibration of our compass, right? I mean, we all know that. It's a constant recalibration of our compass and making sure that we're true north, which is our sovereignty, right? So throughout the day, we can start off in the morning true north, and throughout the day we can go, southeast. Who knows where we are, right? We're off somewhere. And then we got to recalibrate. Some days I have to recalibrate, 20 times. Some days it's 2. It's just different days require different things. So that's where the compassion, the self-compassion, the self-love really comes in. It's about not expecting us to be in a specific place at a specific time, or like, how many of us have had this frustration, like, oh my God, I'm back here. Like, I've been there, done that. I thought I was through all that and we're back. Well, it's because it's a spiral, right? The dance of life is all over the place. Sometimes we're in a rumba. It's slow and sexy and smooth. And sometimes we're in a salsa. It's fast and hot and we're partying. We don't know where we're at. It's just our job to be present with it, wherever we are, and do the best we can. So stay in it. So we're going to pull some cards and give some guidance. So if you're here and you want a card, let me know. I would love to do that. And we're going to pull 2 cards. If you want a card, we're going to pull 2. We're going to pull one for like help with the fear. And then we're going to pull one for help with your sovereign self, with embracing your sovereign self. Okay. And so 2 cards. So I'm going to start getting my decks. I've got lots of different decks here. Okay, so Anastasia wants a card. Sherry wants a card. Beautiful. Gotta pull out my animal cards today because holy cow, there have been strong animal messages. Animal medicine is going crazy. I started seeing doves when I had the honor of having Lisa Gunshore, the Buddhist biohacker, and Mary Lydia Ryan from Spa Opera here at my home at the beginning of this month. And we did a beautiful event in my yard. My yard has never been so gorgeous and full of life and love and everything. And it was just magic. And we started seeing doves, and it was crazy. And the doves have continued. I saw another one this morning randomly in the grass at the park. It was just crazy. All right. So Anastasia wants a card. Sherry wants some cards. Nadine. Hi, Nadine. Welcome. Nadine would love a card. Sammy and Karen. Great. Anybody else that's on that wants a card? I think that might be everybody. If anybody else is on here, see some new numbers. So let me know if you want a card. Okay, so first is Anastasia. So we are going to pull the first card is for the fear, right? And this is going to be just help with moving through the fear, with finding space for it. Okay, so that's the first thing. So let's see which card is for you. And this is Call of the Muse. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so this is number, oh, and I should say, sorry, you can't see that. This is from Oracle of the Seven Energies. So this is all about your throat chakra. Okay, so then to me, this says, there's a communication issue with the fear. And to me, what it feels like is communicating with the fear, allowing the fear to speak to you in the way that it really wants to, really being open to it, allowing yourself to really hear how what messages fear is bringing, because there's always a message in it, right? We think it's just like there's no good in it. There always is. There's always something to learn from the fear. Always. It's pointing us towards something or illuminating something for us. So the communication, Anastasia, with the fear is what I'm feeling. Okay. And then the card for the sovereign self, really embracing your sovereign self, is cow spirit. And oh my goodness, this one says miracles are endless. And the thing that I'm going to say with this is the miracles are endless. And we tend to think that the miracles are outside of us. But the reminder, it feels like for you today, is that the miracles are within you. They're not separate, right? We think of it as something separate, like the magic is outside of us. We tap into that magic. No, the magic is within us. We tap into it and it grows and expands out from us into the world and brings about all these amazing things. So you want to be really, really clear about that, okay? Knowing that the miracles are within you. They're not outside of you at all. Okay, Sherry. So for you, I'm first going to use the Enchanted Map deck. Whoops, this is this one for the fear. And Sherry, your story about your car is absolutely insane and so divine. Like the fact that it broke down 111 miles from your home when it could have broken down so many other mile markers is insane and miraculous, right? The indication that we are completely connected if we just trust it, right? So got your fear card, and now I'm just going to pull the clean and clear these cards and pull a card for the sovereign self. Okay, so your card for the fear is encouragement. And I love this card two things that I love about this card for you. I mean, I love this card in general, but for you is encouragement. It's easy to feel hopeless or to feel stuck or lost or like things are moving when things aren't moving when they actually are. And so this literally says like be in hope, be in trust, be in faith. Okay. We don't know the way, we don't know the how. It's all just crazy, but we just trust. Okay. And then, so that's with the fear, right? Don't let the fear of whatever it is get the best of you. Really examine the fear, allow it to speak to you. And then this, oh my gosh, the doves, here we go again with the doves. So be peace. And this is what the dove says. And the message of that, I think, is so perfect because it's all about stillness. It's all about presence for you. And I think we talked about this when I was in Denver, when we had our beautiful gathering for the Ajata Casa community, is dropping from this space into this space, right? Going from the space of thinking and working it out and finding the logical responses to everything and just being present. Not always easy, but very important. And that is how you are going to really connect with your sovereign self, is through stillness and peace. Okay, that's where it's found. The thing that I'm going to say, there's something interesting with your cars, with your truck. So I don't know if you had an opportunity to get something different. Feels like in the past, like maybe, I don't know, 5-6 months ago or 5 or 6 weeks ago, there was an opportunity and you didn't for some reason, but I feel like it's time for something new. It's time for something new. So I'm not even positive. I don't know what this means, but if it maybe isn't supposed to be repaired for you, I don't know. But I don't know if that makes sense, Sherry, but I would explore that. Okay. All right. Thank you, Sherry. And oh, I'm so happy. So I gotta put this up there. Sherry says she loves the cards. Thank you. You're welcome. And my balance spray and oil has really helped with that, by the way. And I am so happy about that. I'm so happy to hear that because I recommended those to Sherry for that. Also air spray, which was so funny. I couldn't find it. I knew I had it. I could not find it. Then I found it. Yay. Anyway, when I let go of the need to find it, I found it, which is always the way it goes. But balance is a beautiful blend for really helping us to just drop into our physical body. It opens all of the energy centers for us. And so it just really helps us to come into the physical, which when we're dealing with fear is essential, because we often try to deal with fear from up here and that doesn't work. That doesn't work well. We really want to be in the space of the physical to really get a handle on the fear and to let it be in movement, which is the goal, right? And I want to say for Anastasia that my blend that would be perfect is the voice blend. Okay, so that's all about the communication center. I'm sorry, guys, I forgot that I also wanted to recommend for you today because I think it's so important. We've got all these tools. I've got these amazing tools that can help us, and so I want to recommend also. And you're free to take it or just whatever with it, but I want to make sure that you know what I would recommend for that. The other thing, Anastasia, that I would go with the voice would also be earth, because grounding would be really great for you. It feels like there's some upheaval that's been going on and your energy just feels ungrounded right at the moment. So earth would be wonderful for that as well. And just so everybody knows, I've got a great sale going on my entire site right now. Is 10% off if you use code Xmas10. I always have a Christmas in July sale but I didn't get to it this year because I was too busy planning and having fun with other things. So I'm doing a Christmas in August, and it goes through tomorrow evening at 11:59 p.m. So the entire site is 10% off, and that goes for readings too. If you've been wanting some one-on-one personal time with me beyond like what I'm doing here, and you really want some guidance and some clarity where we can go in deep, or you want mediumship, you want me to connect with somebody you love who's passed, now is the time. Those readings are 10% off. So it's a great time to do that. Okay, Nadine. Nadine, we are going to use Wisdom of the Avalon for you. Feeling like we need an infusion of magic. And when I need magic, when I know we need magic, I always go to this deck. Always go to the Wisdom of Avalon. And this is like one of my oldest decks. And I love it. And it's so much fun. So for the fear, we've got that card. And then I'm going to use the energy, this Oracle of the Seven Energies for the sovereignty. Oh, hi, Lisa. I would love to a card for you. And welcome, 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 welcome. Guys, do you have any questions for me while I'm doing these card pulls? It takes a minute, and I'm sorry. There's a process, and I can't do anything to hurry it. So, all right. Oh my gosh, Nadine. So I said we needed this card for magic, this deck for magic, and look at the card I pulled here. Okay. So basically, I love this. This is a perfect card to pull for fear, and when we're talking about fear. And I want you to notice all the green here. Okay, all the green is that heart center that we talked about, which is essential. We've got to go in, we've got to clean and clear this heart center of all of the debris and the clutter that the fear, us not, responding healthily with the fear has created. We want to go in there, we want to move it out, we want to, clean it out, do a big clean out, right? It's not spring, but don't you guys also feel like there's nothing like called fall cleaning, but don't you guys feel that too? Like I am feeling that so much right now. Like I just want to go through and clean and clear and get rid of stuff. And just like there's lightness that needs to come this time of year as well. So Nadine, I feel like that's what this card is about. And also journaling about what you're afraid of. Like, and this might be fears that are up right now. These might be fears that you've suppressed. For you, I'm feeling like just starting with a journal and at the top of the page, say, fear, I'm listening. And then just start writing. And even if you get stuck and you're like, I don't know what to write, I don't know what to write. And just keep writing. But let it all come out. Let it all come out. Let the fear all come out. And then, oh, I love this. Spirit of gratitude, which is number 43. Okay. And this is all about the crown chakra and being completely connected to the divine and to your higher self, which is your sovereignty, right? So being in gratitude is where you're going to get the most connection, where you're going to get the most oomph of your sovereign self. And, that's how it is for all of us, right? We need sovereignty. So don't forget, guys, if I'm pulling a card for somebody else and you feel like there's a message in it for you, that's a Cleton. And it probably is, right? We get messages from other people all the time. And Live Life Spiritual Direction, I would love to pull a card for you. Thank you so much. Okay, Sammy. Let's see what feels right for Sammy. Okay, we've got the animal deck for Sammy. Yeah. Oh, Sammy says, I love that. And Sammy, are we synchronized or what? Fear, she loves that journal prompt, fear and listening, and collective messages right now, at least for Sammy. Yes, Sammy, I love those Cletons. Yes, they are, Karen. So aligned with our group and our discussions today. You can't make this stuff up. That's why I love cards so much. They're so much fun, and they're such beautiful tools to help give us guidance, because sometimes we just feel stuck. Like I said, sometimes we can't see the breadcrumbs. We don't even know if there are breadcrumbs. So this is a wonderful way for us to, get some guidance. Okay, so Sammy, your card for your fear is, Beaver Spirit in reverse. Lay a solid foundation. So because this is in reverse, I'm going to say, where do you need to get out of? This is what it feels like. Now, I don't know what this card actually says in reverse. I don't do that. I go intuitively with what I feel. And for me, this card is saying, like, where are you too much in the details? Where are you too focused on a solid foundation and not really living life? So this could be in making sure of secure, those outside securities that we talked about before, the job, the house, the money, all those things that we put so much stock as security in. Where are you uber focusing on that and missing some of the fun or the joy? Okay. And I feel like there's some playfulness that needs to be brought into your home. Okay. So I don't know if this is decorating. I don't know if it's music. I don't know if it's a dance party or a party in general. I don't know, but it feels like there needs to be some lightness and some fun brought into your home. And that's really important for the fear and for that part of you to lighten up. Okay. And then the card for your sovereign self is Sad Embrace. Okay. And this one, let me move that. This one is all about like giving yourself permission to feel all the feels, to just be in all the feels. And where you're sad, where you're frustrated, part of this card feels like anger to me. So allowing yourself to be angry. I have what I call a trash journal, and or just a dumping whatever. It's just an ugly, not ugly, but it's just like a cheap notebook, like a 25-cent notebook from Walmart. And I go in there and I write what I'm angry about, and it's the trash. It's me literally taking out the trash, the anger, the frustration, the disappointment, whatever it is that I'm feeling. I get it all out in there, and then I shut it and I move on. Okay, I took the trash out. But when we're just thinking about it, it doesn't take the trash out as effectively. We want to really allow ourselves to move that trash and that clutter, that fear, that anger, whatever it is. So give yourself some time and space to just feel like, ugh, and allow yourself to take the trash out. Okay. All right, Sammy, I hope that helps. I hope that makes sense. All right, Karen. All right, Karen, we're going to use the Oracle of the Seven Energies for your fear. What will help you get that fear in movement, because that's what the fear wants. It wants to move. I have certain songs, like when I'm in fear, that I put on. One of them is an oldie but a goodie that is tried and true for me. It's called Bulletproof by LaRue. And I love that song. And when I put that song on, like, fear can't take a hold of me, like, because I'm bulletproof. I believe I'm bulletproof in that moment and for that time. It helps me really get movement. So if there's music that helps you with that, do that. Go for a walk, go for a run, go in your car and scream. Believe me, in the past, 14 months, I've had to do that an awful lot. Just go and scream. And then we're going to use the Spirit Animal Oracle, Karen, for the Sovereign Self. If anybody new is here, Buddha Warrior. Hi, Buddha Warrior. I would love to pull a card for you. And everybody, as a reminder, I just want to let everybody know, if you want a personal recommendation for me, I would love to do that for you. Oh my goodness. And Nadine, I didn't recommend for you. Here, I said I was going to do it and I didn't. If you want a personal recommendation from me for you, I would love to do that beyond what we're talking about today. So Nadine, the one that feels perfect for you today is water. Okay. Feels like just finding water always finds a way to do what it needs to, find an easy course. And it feels like that's needed right now for you. Just flow and ease. Okay, so water would be great for you. And Sammy, for you, it feels like reclaim. Reclaim is what it's feeling like today. Like it's time for you to really reclaim some of those parts that you've put away because you felt like you had to, all those shoulds, that we talked about at the beginning of the show today. So reclaim would be perfect for you. Okay. So Karen, here we go. And we have got the Oracle's gift. Oh my goodness. So I just cannot say how much I love this card for you, Karen. Knowing what you've been going through, this is an amazing card. And this is all about the third eye, right? And your connection and your intuition and building that. And this is basically saying, you're the oracle. Don't fear it, right? You are the oracle for so many in a way that you might understand, but I feel like you don't quite have a grasp on it, which is always how it is. We have an idea of how we're supposed to move, right? What direction we're supposed to move towards, but we very rarely see the full picture purposefully. If we saw the full picture, there would be no point. We're supposed to follow the trail of breadcrumbs, and sometimes it changes as we're on it. So trust that you have this oracle's gift and that you can trust yourself, okay? And then this card that goes right with it for your sovereign self is Koala Spirit. Spirit has a plan. Trust it. We don't need to see it all laid out in front of us like this beautiful blueprint of a housing subdivision, right? That's not the way it works. We see a little bit and we move forward. And then we might pause and then we see a little bit more and we move forward again. Or we pause and things change. So we go in a different direction. It's that dance of life. And we need to be present knowing which dance we're in. Okay. I hope that helped, Karen. Now, what I'm going to recommend is Flow. I feel like Flow Scrub is what is wonderful for you right now. Oh my goodness, guys, I'm sorry about that. I feel like that would be really wonderful for you. It would just keep things in flow. And it's very medicinal also. It's going to have a really boosting impact on your physical and emotional self as well as, keeping things in flow. All right. Lisa Pelkey. Nadine said water is perfect. And let's see. Yeah. LaRue, I think it's LAROUX is LaRue. Whoops. I had my cap lock on, but whatever. LAROUX. So, yeah, move, dance, whatever. And yeah, wow. The Oracle's gift is what an incredible card. Okay. And it is hard to trust. It's not easy to trust, but it is important that we keep practicing that, right? Because it is about trust. Okay. Now we've got Lisa. All right, Lisa, for you, we are going to pull spirit animal for your fear, the card to help with the fear. And this is the thing. Everybody has fear. It's just how we deal with it is what's important. And I also don't want us to get stuck in this belief or this idea that we can master fear. Like, we can't master fear. We can master our responses to fear. Okay. But we don't want it to be about perfection. It's about progress. And because it's a spiral, sometimes our responses are really, really beautiful and spiritual. And sometimes our responses are very human. They might actually be reactions, right? But we just want to know that our responses are what we can master, right? Fear is going to be there. It's part of that human and that spiritual coming together, right? The practical and the magical. That's what we've got to master, our responses. Sammy, let's see what this is. Absolutely possible to pick up an order today or tomorrow morning. I would love to get you some reclaim, and I will message you, Sammy, when we're off YouTube, and we can make that happen. And if anybody local wants to get an order, absolutely, you can do that. Okay, and then the second card for you, Lisa, is from the energy of the seven, or the oracle of the seven energies. Okay, so we've got mouse in reverse for the fear. Tend to the small things, okay? And this feels like with this fear, because it's in reverse, it's just like don't be too in the big picture. Like, I know that's what keeps coming to me, like, don't be too in the big picture. And what I feel like this is you moving forward for yourself. You're looking at the big picture, because it's easier to look at the big picture than bring it back in and look at right now what's going on. But it feels like you've got to tend to some really small things. Okay. And like when I turned this over, I saw a picture of this little tiny mouse in my mind. Like I saw this little tiny mouse. And so it feels like it's like something small that needs to be done for you, for your self care, for your sacred care, needs to be done. So look at where you're not looking at the small things, okay, and how that might be hurting you, how you may not be taking as great of care as yourself as you can, or that you're being called to, because you're looking more at the big picture. Hi, Jeff. Good afternoon. Let me know if you'd like a card. And I can't wait for everybody to let me know that you heard LaRue and that you had a little dance party. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll come back on here and have a little dance party with some music. Okay, and then Lisa. Oof. These cards, you cannot make this up. Divine Matrix number 44, which 44, that is such a high vibe number and such a beautiful message for you with your sovereign self. But the Divine Matrix, this is the matrix that we want to be in, right? This is where we want to focus, and where we want to be, and what we want to look to for our highest self. But the thing that I'm going to say is all of this pink, see all this pink that's around the card? That's what I'm really, really seeing. And so if you can do some heart work, some focus on your heart, some meditation on your heart center, and really bringing in that pink, the frequency of the pink energy, the pink light, that would be fantastic. And it feels like Mary keeps calling to me for you. So call in the pink, call in Mary, and really connect with your sovereign self. And then that will help you know from this card, right, what your sacred care needs to be, like how it's calling you, where it's calling you, what it wants to do. And the thing that I'm feeling for you, Lisa, is bleeding heart. I don't know what's going on, if something's gone on, that there's some grief, but it just feels like your heart needs a lot of attention, and bleeding heart is what? And peace. So bleeding heart is a flower essence spray, and then peace is an oil or a spray. So one of those, both of those. I'm going to say both of those. Okay. Let me know if you need some extra help, Lisa. Okay. And let's see. The next one is live life spiritual direction. Yes, thank you. And let's see, we're going to use the map deck for you and the oracle of the seven energies again. Really, that deck is just calling to me today. So I hope everybody had a good weekend and that your week is going well so far. And Tuesday is ruled by the god Mars. So Tuesday can be a little tricky for some of us sometimes, and it can be a day of conflict, but also resolution, which is so important. And that's why I love Tuesday Truth, because we can come in, we can get to the truth of it, we can, dig in and figure it out, find that conflict, and then find the resolution, which is so important. Ooh. So This is for you, Live Life, and this is Golden Palace. Okay, so this card is letting you know that the antidote to your fear is being in abundance consciousness. So I'm going to say, where is lack consciousness? Where is that occupying valuable real estate in your mind? Where's that got you stuck? Where are you being there? And it's so easy for all of us to be in lack consciousness, right? We don't even realize that we're doing it, but it's so easy to slip into that, especially when fear is playing a part of it, right? Sorry, guys, I need a little water. Got to stay hydrated. When you're doing any kind of work like this, and this is on either side, if you're giving the messages or you're receiving the messages, you want to stay hydrated because that's how energy stays flowing. When we are dehydrated, it's like this. Okay, so we got to stay hydrated. So we want to stay in abundance consciousness. So where is lack pulling you in? Where are you thinking about lack? And it's really easy to fall into the lack consciousness and not even realize it. But what I like to think about often is that we can look at a glass with water. Like, let's take my glass. I've got my cup right here. We can look at this and we can go, this is 2/3 full, or it's 1/3 empty. Or we could simply go, it's a glass with some water. That's it, right? That third option is neutrality. That's the middle way. That is being free. And that is absolutely where our sovereignty lies, right? So again, we think that, oh, it's 1/3 empty is lack consciousness, and that 2/3 full is abundance consciousness. But true abundance consciousness is it's simply a vessel with some fluid, not ascribing a good or a bad, right? It simply is. That is true abundance and true sovereignty. Okay. So some food for thought. Some food for thought. That's a feed on for sure, I think, for all of us. Okay. And the second card, which will help with your sovereignty, is Roots of Abundance. Okay. This card and this card go together perfectly. Like if I was to pick cards from these decks that went together, these would be the cards, because this is all, this one is all about gratitude and being in abundance. And this is about being in abundance. So again, just ask yourself and maybe do some journaling about where you are thinking that you're in abundance consciousness, but it's a little bit of a tricky situation, and how you can pivot and adjust and tweak and really move into that space of neutrality where abundance actually is. And for you, Live Life, I am going to recommend, I'm feeling earth for those roots, but I'm also feeling voice. Like there's some beliefs or some self-talk that needs to be tweaked in order to move you into the abundance. Okay. Buddha Warrior is next. And guys, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do, so that so that I appreciate it. And so that if you're watching and you haven't subscribed, please do. Because then if you comment, I know who you are. And I don't just see YouTube subscriber. Okay, so Buddha Warrior, we're going to use the Oracle of the Seven Energies for the fear. And then we're going to use the Wisdom of Avalon. So again, I feel an influx of magic is needed today. So we're going to use those. So the Oracle of the Seven Energies, and now Wisdom of the Avalon. Before I even turn the cards over, I'm going to say what I would recommend for you, because it's coming in so strongly. It's my love oil. And this love oil or spray, and this oil is all about your heart center. But I have actually three blends that are for the heart center: the love, the protect, and the peace. But the love is for the heart center and for self-love. Okay, so it's to help us to be more compassionate with ourselves and loving, and it really just helps us to notice where we're being uber critical or where we're not being loving. Okay, so that's the blend that I'm gonna recommend, and let's see if the cards coincide with that. Oh, perfect. Willing release. Okay, so this is the seventh energy center, which is the crown chakra, all about, your sovereign self. But what fear needs to be let go, right? In order for you to bring about what you're wanting. I feel like you've been working on something really hard. I keep seeing the number 9 coming in. So that feels like 9 weeks, 9 months, something like that you've been working on something, but it keeps like moving forward and then stopping. And it's because of fear. And what I want to say is, see these dandelions on this card, those where you get them and then you blow and make a wish and they just disintegrate, like they just float out. That's how easy the fear can be released if we're willing. So I want you to keep that visual, Buddha warrior. Okay. I want you to keep the visual of these dandelions and blowing the fear out and away. Okay. Literally getting it in movement. That's important. And then, and it can also be the same way with what I was saying with the love, right? It can be easy to release the self-doubt or the guilt or the regret or whatever you're holding yourself to. It can be just that easy to release if we're willing. And then, holy cow, you can't make this stuff up. So the card to bring to help with your sovereign self is forgiveness. All green, all about the heart center. And I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Okay. So what do you have tattooed on you, Buddha warrior? Do you have these tattooed on you? And the number 9 you have tattooed on you? Are you kidding? Wow. That's crazy. So I can't wait to see what the responses to those questions I just asked. And yes, Jeff says, so much heart-centered energy. Yes. So Buddha warrior, what do you have tattooed on you? Yes, these? You have these tattooed on you? And the number 9? Oh my gosh, I cannot believe that. That is just incredible. We cannot make this stuff up. Oh, I've got goosebumps head to toe. Oh, this work we do, guys, it is so magical and so beautiful. And we just trust it. Wow. Oh, I've got goosebumps head to toe. Oh, thank you, Buddha warrior. Oh, and if you, so I'm going to put my email in the comments so that you can email me and we can, or actually, I'll just put my website. That's easier. You can get it there. And then if you have questions, you can let me know. Oh my gosh, this is so beautiful, you guys. Thank you so much for being here today and being on this journey with me. I just cannot even tell you how blessed I am and how blessed I feel to have you all in my community. So, all right, Jeff, let's see. What are we feeling like Jeff needs? Okay, Jeff, I'm feeling like reclaim is what would be perfect for you. And the reason I'm feeling reclaim is because reclaim grounds us into our root chakra, right? So it helps us to really grow those roots of safety and security and stability. And it also grounds us into our solar plexus, which is our place of personal power and our focus and our confidence. Okay. And it feels like there's some parts of you that really need to be reclaimed, that really need parts of you that have been dormant or have been hidden and that really want to come out and play. They really want to have a place right now. So it's time. So reclaim would be wonderful for that. And again, for those of you, I think maybe some of you joined after, I'm having a sale on my entire site right now, including readings. So if you want some one-on-one personal time with me, this is a great opportunity to do it. And it's 10% off of everything. So it's my August and July because I missed, or sorry, Christmas in August because I missed Christmas in July last month. So, and the sale goes through tomorrow, September 1st, Wednesday, September 1st at 11:59 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So there's still time. Okay, Jeff. So reclaim is what? Oh, yes, Dana. Hi, welcome. So if you want a card, Dana, let me know. We're pulling 2 cards, one for helping with the fear that's keeping us from our sovereign self, and then the second card for our sovereign self. Okay, Jeff. So the Avalon card for the fear is truth. Oh my gosh. Okay. The truth. The truth will set you free, and being honest about the fear and the parts of you that you've been hiding, right, will be everything for you. They will be freedom. They will be knowing. They will open up paths to you that you didn't think were even possible. But this is about truth. So I talked earlier about journaling about truth. So when I'm not sure about what my fear is or how it's trying to speak to me, I just right at the top, I am listening, and then I just start writing how fear wants to talk to me. And if I get stuck, I just write, I'm stuck and I don't know what to write. Even if I need to write that 5 times, eventually it softens and releases and we know what to write, right? And we can write for a while and then get stuck and then do that and move on. But truth, Jeff, truth. What a beautiful card. Okay, and then the help with the sovereign self is number 6. It is what it is. Okay. And this is all about your root chakra. Number 6, your root chakra, feeling safe, feeling secure. And one of the things, like with these parts of you that you've kept hidden, it feels like it's a matter of safety in your mind's eye, right? You've created the story that this is safe. This is how I'm safe. This is what I need to do to be safe. But look at it for what it is, right? Look at it for what it really is. And even acceptance goes a huge way. And when we can be in the space of acceptance, that is when we are truly grounded and truly connected, right? We're not trying to change it. We're not in the fear trying to control it. We're just saying it is what it is, open-handed. We started our conversation with being open-handed, right? So the more that you can do that, the better. But this goes to that reclaim, right? And those parts of you that you've kept hidden, you might have kept them hidden because you weren't happy with them or you don't feel like they're favorable. But those parts of you are what they are purposefully. We may not understand it. Our human wants to know why, but we don't always know why, right? And that question can keep us so stuck. That can be the bane of our existence, the why, right? Having to know the why. Sometimes we just have to accept it just is. So I hope that those helped, Jeff. If you have any other questions or you need, something else, let me know. All right, Dana. Okay, Dana. For you, we're going to pull Wisdom of Avalon and the Spirit Animal. All right, so the first card is all about, yep. Yes, tap into your higher self, Jeff. And so what I'm going to say is it's often those parts of us that we deem or we define as less than or unfavorable that keep us from our higher self, right? Their junk, their clutter that keep us from connecting to our highest self, to our intuitive self, to our to our intuition. So we want to be really careful about that and be honest about it. Again, truth. Those parts of us that we don't like, that we're not proud of, we try to hide them from ourselves too, not just from others, from ourselves. And that's a detriment. That doesn't serve us. We want to be honest about them because then we can move the energy, right? Because those parts of us that we don't love, they are just parts of us, that shadow parts that want to come out into the open and be loved, right? And it's energy that wants to move. That's all it is. It just wants to move. And when we resist it or push it away, can't move. All right. So, Dana, here we go. So, your first card about helping with the fear is the King. Ooh, and I love this card. So, this is like the divine masculine card of this deck, right? And it's all about authority and being in the space of trusting yourself to know what's in your highest good, right? The King makes decisions and he doesn't ask anybody else's opinion. He just does what he needs to do. Feels like that's for you. So that's wonderful, Dana. And Dana, I'm going to say that the what I'm feeling for you, and I think I recommended this for you the last couple days, is soothe. I feel like your nervous system is really on overload, and you're just having a hard time relaxing and like dropping down into yourself, right? Because your nervous system is kind of on heightened alert right now. So trust the soothe is going to help you to trust yourself and um, to be the authority and to trust that you know for you, right? You can know for you. So that I just heard my mentor saying that in my mind, and I love that because when my mentor years and years ago, my gosh, my daughter was probably 3, and I'm a hairdresser. I'm a licensed hairdresser. I always say that was my gateway profession into what I do now, right? So you have all my hair clients to thank for me being here. But I was doing her hair one day and I asked her what the best piece of advice the one piece of advice she could give me as a mom, the best piece of advice, just one. And she said, teach your children that they can know for them. And I thought, well, that is kind of weird. And I don't know if I really buy into that. But the more I sat with it, the more I realized how invaluable that is. Like, think of that as adult people. If we had been told as children that you know what's right for you, and all you need to do is connect to it, and you will know beyond a shadow of a doubt, right? Independent of what anybody else thinks is for you or not for you, you can know for you. Think of how different our lives would be, right? So, Dana, trust that you can know for you. The King is here to help you with that. Call on him, he will help. The King archetype is invaluable, and that divine masculine. Okay, and then the card that will help with the sovereign self, with embracing your sovereign self, is Badger Spirit in reverse. Be fearless and bold. Okay, so where are you letting fear stop you, right? And also, I'm going to say that there is a fear that is warranted that I'm feeling is coming up in you. Um, and that you really need to look at because it does have some merit, right? We can really quickly dismiss fear as useless, but it's always there for a reason. It's always getting our attention to look at something else. So I don't know if that makes sense, Dana, but like, what fear is there that needs some really deep, needs some time, needs some space, and it has a very important message for you, right? Like, the fear is warranted, I'm going to say that. So I hope that helps. Okay, everybody, thank you so much. Oh, thank you, Deb. How cute. Deb said that's why your hair always looks so good. Well, maybe, thank you, but my daughter's also a hairdresser, and so I give her credit for my hair because she does my hair. But I'm going to tell you guys something else. And this is because of my products. I'm a hairdresser. I have not washed my hair with shampoo for probably 7 years now. Okay. So it's kind of crazy. I know I get a lot of ooh from it. Doesn't mean my hair is not clean. My hair and my scalp are incredibly clean. I just use my products to wash my hair. So instead of dry shampoo, I use my sprays every day, every night when I go to bed. I clean my scalp and my hair with my spray, and then I use it in the morning. And I do wash my hair periodically, but it's like a long time in between. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not ready to come clean on that right now yet. But And I've got to tell you, my hair has never been healthier since I stopped using traditional shampoo, really traditional beauty products in general. I don't use traditional beauty products. I don't use hair care products. I don't use cosmetics. I don't use any skin products. If they have an ingredient that I can't say easily, I don't use it. And that's part of what I love about my products is they're very simple. You don't have to be complicated to get great results. I have transformed my skin head to toe, including my scalp and my hair, with very simple, um, easy to use products that are, simple in nature. They are nature's medicine. And it's interesting because I'm a hairdresser and yet I don't use any of the hairdresser products. So that's me. But thank you all so much. Dana says, I love that king archetype. Spot on. I'm up late at night, early in the morning, always high alert. Yes. Okay. And fear of being seen. Wow. So I'm going to say, Dana, look at not only the divine masculine energy with that, but the divine feminine that might be telling you that you don't have a right to be seen. Okay. Because that can be a big one for some of us. And Karen, oh, thank you so much, Karen. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate all of you. I loved having you here today and spending this time with you. Thank you for the gift of you and your time and for allowing me the honor of pulling some cards for you. So, love you all. Thank you so much. Have an absolutely beautiful Tuesday, and let's find our Tuesday truth and really embrace the fear and our sovereign selves. Thank you so much and have a beautiful day.